Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. And as you can see, we are living in snow. So I wanted to test out the snow physics a little bit and just see kind of how that's operating. I can tell you already it's a way better experience from FS22. This is actually the one place where the ground deformation really does shine. As you can see, my tracks have left marks all over the place from trekking around, dug down into the ground a little bit. That is something I'm actually really surprised by, comparing it to like the mud in the game. But the snow is phenomenal. I think this is probably one of the better features of the game. I was just like, oh, hey, let's turn on the snow and do some console commands and make it snow and see what it looks like. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, like crazy how nice it looks. Again, here we'll hop in this machine. You guys can see a little bit. My mouse is glitching out on me here a little bit, so we're gonna have to use the old keyboard. Okay. So, as you can see, trekking back and forth in the snow leaves some nice little marks there. And it looks... So one thing I haven't tested, like if I drive back and forth, does it deform it down to the dirt? There's just that one spot that's dirty over there, but I think that might have been where my machine was parked. So I don't know if it actually like keeps on bringing it down, or I think it's just that one layer you get, and that's probably about it. But we're just gonna keep backing up and going forward and checking it out regardless. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that one spot was just happened to be where my machine was parked, possibly. But yeah, pretty interesting how it leaves the snowy marks on the ground. I really like that. That actually looks pretty good. Some of the angles are a little weird, but yeah, this must have been just where I left it parked. Maybe that's why the snow built up around it. Potentially. I haven't really played with the truck yet, so why don't we hop in that and back it up a couple times. Let's go backwards and forwards. So I just want to see even what that little mount did. So as you can see, like you got the little, the little tire tracks happening in the snow here. That actually looks pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, really decent. One thing I did notice, I'm getting this kind of, that black flickery thing that people were talking about. Only since I did the snowy weather. So for whatever reason, every once in a while it kind of glitches out. It gives me like a weird little, yeah, like, I don't know if you guys just saw that. Like a weird little stuttery, glitchy thing going on. I don't know really how to describe that. Anyway, we're just going to drive this truck ahead a little bit here and get it out of my way. We'll probably lock that up. Oop. Oh, we're going to run over that stump, waste our tire. I actually just want to get this load away from me so that the physics can calm down a bit, because I got a lot of stuff going on here. There was something else I want to show you guys that's actually pretty cool. And sorry, like I said, right now I'm just kind of biting at the bit to get the Giants editor, so I'm just noticing little things, but as I discover them, I kind of was like, hey, you know what, I should tell people about this. So the first thing is, a gentleman in the comments there mentioned it. I apologize, I don't remember who it was. So if you hit Shift P on your keyboard, so this is the trees section, right? So he told me, I didn't even read this menu up here. There's this little menu up in the top left corner, but the guy's like, oh, you know, you can cycle through the trees and it does different sizes. And I'm like, what? So if I hit M or N on my keyboard, it cycles through the different growths of the tree, which provide you with different limbs, different textures, different everything. And that's on all the trees across the board here. So some of the lodgepole pine stuff, like it's kind of got that medium state. It looks like it's a dead tree. And then it grows up little and it's green, and like, yeah, you have lots of options in here. And same with the alder, or well, the beech, old beech. I call it alder for whatever reason, because I'm wrong. You have all these different stages. You can set the tree sizes too. And it's actually pretty cool. I'm actually pretty excited about that. A cool thing with that is going to be the use of the map editor, because you're able to dynamically place trees of different sizes. So in theory, I could set a range of where I want the trees and how much, and I could just go paint the whole maps, and it'll vary the sizes, it'll vary everything. So you guys will have some really unique forests, as long as the editor's working the way it did towards the end of FS22. Because they do have that mesh placement tool that lets you kind of paint the trees now, and then you can set variables to decide, you know, what's the largest size tree you want, what stage, you know, it lets you kind of choose through it a bit. So hopefully that'll give me the element of picking like all these different size trees, and you can just kind of place them around like a crazy person. But I mean, like, I made this kind of crap. Well, it's most of it I cut down actually, but I made this kind of a crappy little forest here, and then I went through with the buncher and was just roasting it out. I also got the chipper working, or the brush grinder. It's still a little few things I got to do in that, but it is grinding up the logs quite well. I am still running into this issue where if I drop a tree, especially with the processor, or where I parked that over there, if I drop a tree from standing, sort of like felling the tree with the processor, I find the tips want to go through the terrain and then they get stuck like this and they glitch out. So that's one thing I hope will get fixed in an update. If not, we'll have to play with the variables on that. So one other really cool thing I noticed. So this is actually, I don't know, I imagine it's a feature that they did. So if you notice, the ends of these logs are really gray and ugly and dead looking. And that's usually what the decked wood will look like in the bush before you cut into it. So something new that's on here now, check this out. So if I use my processor here, check this out. So you got like that gray, ugly, dead end, right? So if I turn on my processor and I buck off just a little bit off the end, look, it's clean underneath. Isn't that crazy? Like it's different every time I snip into it. So from a processor point of view, that's actually kind of cool. Because then you can run your log out and do your thing. But I think that's really neat that they have that butted end thing. So like I said, if you are chopping into it, it actually reveals a clean cut. That is a really, really neat feature for the logging side of the game. And I don't know if that's a feature or that's just happening. It's got to be a feature that they've included. So, I mean, hands off to them for that, because that's really cool. The trees in general are actually kind of impressing the living hell out of me compared to, like visually. Visually, they're so impressive, the trees. The physics, still a little quirky, but we're getting there. I'm working, like I said, I'm trying to work the machines around the physics. Because they do act somewhat okay. I don't know what the capabilities are going to be for me editing the physics of these logs, because they do look like they're dynamically placed from inside the engine. But even if I have to work with these logs, you know what? I'm actually not super upset about it. These are pretty fantastic. They look great, and they don't handle terribly. Like even the stuff that I'm doing right now, like processing these logs, really not handling all that bad at all. And I love that you can cut the nasty, dirty end off of them to give them like that clean kind of cut effect. That is super, super neat. And like I said, then you got all these ends that are, well, we got a couple dead ones down there, but most of the ends are pretty light, you know? So that's super neat. So again, we're just kind of living in the snowy realm. One thing I did notice that's really weird, and I think it might be them trying to make it look like the snow is falling off the trees. So here, let's grab the buncher real quick here. Unfortunately, it kind of has, I don't know, I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. It's just something I noticed. So if I go over and cut these trees that have snow on them, I'm just going to push all this stuff out. Wait, we got so many trees down in this area now. My game, I'm surprised my game's not glitching right out. The snow definitely has a bit more of effect on the performance. I've noticed my frame rate dropping quite a bit with the snow. Again, that buncher head actually digs into that ground a bit, so you can work your way right down. It takes away the snow, so you can kind of push it out of the way. That could be really fun when you get bunching into the heavier snow on maps. So, ooh, that could be exciting. I'm actually kind of cool about that one. Pretty coolly excited. So, like I said, I don't know if it's going to do with this one, but it did with the other one. So when I hit the tree, it's all nice and snowy. But when I hit it, it turns bright green, like instantly. And I think that might be kind of a trigger animation to kind of relate to maybe the snow falling off. But let's see. So see how it turned bright green? So it should almost, like, I wish it would almost turn like, maybe like a tiny bit, just slightly shaded white still. Again, this is just such a moot thing, but it's just something I noticed. How the tree loses all its snow when you hit it. And in real life, snow does fall off them. Like it's, I've waved trees around in winter and they snow blind you sometimes when they got limbs on them. But they don't really turn bright green. And that could actually be my buncher head hitting it too much too. Because let's see, if I hit it once with a saw, this is good, I didn't test this, so. Oh, do I have a saw? Well, we're gonna get a saw. Chainsaw, there we go. So here's another thing that's cool about the chainsaw since we're here. So in the previous game, you had to try to get as low as humanly possible to try to cut the tree to get that ring. And you'd only be able to cut it about this height in the last game because that's as low as you could go. This one actually lets you lower that ring on the tree as low as you want to go, down to the dirt pretty much. And then what happens is the saw just dynamically cuts in that angle. So it's actually a big improvement. No, so that does the same thing where it makes it all extremely green. So I think that's to simulate the snow falling off when you process the log, so it's a fresh log. It just might be a little much. But anyway, not a huge deal. Just something I noticed that I thought was kind of neat. But yeah, the snow looks great. Like I'm really impressed with the snow, with the track marks and stuff as you go back and forth. And the snow on the trees. Now, there's no snow on the logs once they're on the ground, once they're processed. This stays all fresh piles. Again, we're asking for a lot, I guess, if we really want the snow to stick to the logs. It would be kind of neat, but I'm sure from a coding nightmare, that would be brutal. But I mean, in winter, you can see the trees get their own snow like on them. So they're kind of that frosty kind of look, and the limbs get all covered in snow. So that's kind of the main reason. Like, my whole plan is I don't want to bring any of the trees from FS22 over to this game. That was my initial goal. I was a little concerned at first when I first started playing because it looked like the trees were going to kind of suck. So now I feel that the trees are actually going to be good if we do things right and if things go well. So I'm going to try my best to implement these trees from this game into the main maps that we build and stuff. And man, I hope it all works out. But yeah, I just wanted to do this little quick update and show you guys, because I mean, winter's pretty cool. I didn't see a lot about winter when the game first came out, like none of the footage really. I think they should have sold themselves a little heavier on this feature because it looks fantastic. Like, the trees look fantastic. The snow also, here, let's show you guys another neat trick. I'm going to change the time to nighttime. Oh, I still want it to snow, though. I think I have to turn the weather on here. Is it going to work? Weather set snow. Oh, let me just set it before. Oh, it doesn't like that. Hold on a sec here. I think it thinks I'm in winter, or wrong month. May. Let's go to January. It snows in January, doesn't it? September? It could snow in September. Nope, still doesn't like it in September. I just keep cycling this until we end up... Oh, it's going to keep jumping between these months. Hold on here. You're looking at a guy that doesn't know how to use this properly. March 650? 659. I just keep choosing these random different dates, times. Definitely don't want rain. Okay, so this is kind of showing a bit of the effect. So this is the new effect I'm seeing. So you can see those raindrops actually bouncing off the top of the snow. You see those little blap, blap, blap. It's kind of hard to see them. So the snow, if I can ever get to it, I really want to show you guys. What month are we in? February. Okay, February. It's slightly dark. So the snow actually has a few seconds where it sticks to the ground. Oh, you can see it on the highway. There you go. So you see the snow. Oh, of course the lighting goes out. There you go. Oh, here we go. Turn the light on. There you go. So you see how the little snow particles actually stick to the ground? Not for long, but enough to kind of give it a little bit more of a realistic effect. I saw that as soon as I was running the machine and I got the snow in here. Now, ignore all the greenery because I just messed up the game by doing that in the editor. But I mean, all these tracks, like in the snow, they all have their own dynamic little shadows and stuff to kind of show off the snow tracks. That's fantastic. So that's something I am impressed with. The mud was like I can see the lines going through the mud and stuff. That looks pretty good as well. But there hasn't been a lot of places on the map that I could really show off the mud. The only missed opportunity they had was to mow down the grass, or like either tamp it down or to just wipe it out entirely when you drive through it. That would have just been one extra mile to just rock it. But like, that looks really incredible. So I'm actually really impressed with that. If this would have been the first thing I saw when I played the game, as you can see the snow build up on the tires and stuff too. I think you could see it on these tracks too. Sorry for my weird rotation here. So you see the tracks get kind of like frosted up. Kind of looks a little bit frosty, and it's not quite mud. It's like a cold, snowy, frosty look. So that's pretty sweet. I like that. But yeah, anyway, so with the tree discoveries and the implementation of some of the cool stuff they did with the bark and the clean cuts on the logs for processing, like that's super cool. I really like that. I think that'll be a really neat addition to us playing in the game. Anyway, just a neat little feature. As I find really cool things, I try to save them up and show you guys in a video just weird things I'm discovering that are cool. And yeah, wait for the giant cider to come out and then we can rock it. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that, guys. We will catch you in the next one. See ya.